welcome to the University of Guelph Arboretum. My name is Kitty, and behind the camera there, that's Jenny.
Hello!
And we are the Naturalist Interns here. And today we have a special guest. This is Earley, the Interpretive Biologist at the Arboretum as well. And we wanted to talk a little bit about bird banding because that is one of the research and conservation initiatives that happen here at the Arboretum. So Chris, can you tell us what bird banding is?
So bird banding it's a way for scientists to study birds so that you can really get to know about their lives, because it's hard to know about birds when you can't know exactly how old they are or where their migration route is or certain things about their breeding behavior without having bands on them. And bands have allowed us to answer questions about all three of those things with surprising amounts of detail. So, for example, by banding a bird, we now know what the longevity is for most species of birds because of how long they've had a band on. We know how long they could live in the wild, which is pretty neat. So even these little chickadees that keep coming to the feeder, they could live, 9, 10, 11 years old, which is pretty crazy when you think of this little bird living through the winter for that long. And that's because of banding data. As well, we have migratory species. We learn how far they're migrating. We learn what migration routes they're using, which means we can protect certain areas because we know that birds are going through those to get to their wintering grounds. And behavior-wise, especially if we put color bands on birds, which we often do with our chickadees, we can learn who's mating with who is really good at raising young and why, figuring out territories, flock behaviors and interactions between species, and was that a white-breasted nuthatch that did that? Between species as well as intra-species, so in between individuals of the same species. So it's a really great way of learning about wildlife.
Yeah, and Chris is a master bird bander, so he's actually able to do his bird banding at the Arboretum. He has the permit to do so, and we have some traps set up here to help us catch birds as well. Chris, can you explain how these traps work?
Sure. So quite often we use mist nets, which if you think about a badminton net, they're sort of like that, but they're droopier and have more tines across them, so that if a bird flies into it, they fall into a pocket of the netting, and then we take them out of that pocket and then add the bands. But we also can use different traps to catch birds. So for example, this trap is called a potter trap, and to set it, I would lift up this door, set that onto the door, put bait over here, so there's some bird seed in here. See that there? And then we would leave and we would wait for a chickadee or that nuthatch. Even mourning doves will go in here, and they go in, and when they hit this thing, it causes the door to flop down, and then they're trapped in there and we can come and get it out. We also have ground traps, and these traps are set up to catch birds. So we put bird seed in them, and the bird goes along the edge trying to find a way to get to where the bird seed is, and we'll go into this. And then there's a little bit here, I'll just open this up. They come in, and then there's an opening on the side here, but when they go to leave, they don't know to go to that opening. They just try and get around all the different edges to be able to get out. And that way they get trapped in there, and we can come open up the lid and reach in carefully. So you're very careful when you band birds. You have to know how to handle them so that they don't get hurt. There's a whole protocol on how to band them, what data you're going to collect, how to release them. You try and do it as quickly as you can so it doesn't stress the bird out. And once you follow all those protocols, then it's actually quite a safe activity for the bird.
Yeah, thanks so much, Chris, for explaining a little bit of snippet of what goes into bird banding here at the Arboretum. There's already lots of birds around, hanging around our feeders, so hopefully we leave these out a little bit longer. Then some birds will get in there. We'll be able to get a lot of information on them, as well as equip them with a band, or if they already have a band, we could get more information on them as well. So a really, really important part of some of the research and conservation initiative that the Arboretum does take a part in. So thanks so much, guys, for joining us today. We will see you next week.
See you later.